So, copying. Today I was thinking a lot, and what I was thinking a lot about was copying. The idea of copying and the act of copying, right? It's really weird to me to think that on the one hand, we have these laws and rules preventing the act of copying, and then on the other hand, you've got the fact that as children and even as adults, humans rely on copying, the act of copying, to a great extent. If you want to learn a new task, how you typically learn that task is you have someone show you or explain to you that task, and then you copy them, and then you repeat it until you've actually learned it. So today I was thinking it's interesting that we have this one hand where copying is extremely negative and really frowned upon, and the other hand, copying is encouraged and is actually very beneficial, because it just makes it easier to learn something. If you have someone to show you how to do it and then you just copy what they do, then you can learn what they just showed you in a very short amount of time. A good example is, you're learning how to drive. You watch someone drive, you study them driving, you learn the rules of the road, and then when you actually do it yourself, what do? You copy those good drivers that you've seen in the past. Now, what's the point of all this? Where am I going with all this thinking? What I'm thinking is that the danger of copying, right? We all know the idea that if you photocopy a photocopy of a photocopy, and then compare the original with the photocopy and the original are going to be very different. The copy that's been photocopied a number of times is going to be degraded, and it's not going to be as clear. So you have this idea that if everything is just copied and copied, eventually you're going to have a degradation of what was originally there. It's not going to be as crisp, it's not going to be as clear, and you're going to lose something along the way. So how do we encourage copying, but to a point? Gonna wanna. That is a phrase I absolutely hate, but so many people say it, I find myself copying it, and I end up saying it all the time, and I cannot break the habit. It takes 2 seconds to roll off the tongue. It's convenient, but it is gross. I don't like that as a word. I majored in English in university. Anyway, so that's one of the negative things that can happen from copying, is you'll have something happening around you to the point where it doesn't matter whether you want to copy that thing or not. You find yourself copying it and doing it and following the action. Happens on the road a lot. Sometimes you'll have someone fall asleep at the wheel and they end up veering off the side of the road. If someone behind them is not being very attentive, not paying attention very well, sometimes they'll follow them off the road without even thinking about it, because they just see the person in front and they follow them. To a great extent, people are followers. And that's the idea of today that I was thinking about. To what extent are we all followers? Are we all copiers of previous people that have come before us? You wake up in the morning, get ready, get dressed, go to work. You're literally copying trillions of people to do this. I guess the idea today is, at what point is copying bad and what is it good? It's one of those double things, because on the one hand, there's plagiarism. You're taking that shortcut. You're just saying, oh, here's an idea someone else did. I'm going to repackage it. I'm going to say it's mine. Boom, that's done. And it's very lazy, and that is definitely negative. But when it comes to copying other things, like I find music is one of those things that improves. I'm trying to think of a good example here. Someone like Jimi Hendrix. Before Jimi Hendrix came along, guitar, there was playing guitar, and then when Jimi Hendrix came along, he, copied. He was very inspired by Bob Dylan and people like that, but he took what they learned, he learned what they learned and copied them in a way, but then he took it and put it to a place that only he could take it. So I guess that's the question of today. At what point is copying a complete negative thing? And at what point is it, a good thing, a beneficial thing? Is it always a bad thing? Is it always a good thing? Or is it more of those kind of gray area things? So thanks for listening to me think there out loud, and I'll see you later.